Apex predators play a crucial role in the ecology of an environment, whether it's terrestrial or marine. In this aspect, great white sharks are balance keepers of the environment. They're known as keystone species, and if we wipe them out and do not create the management plans to sustain their populations, we will see a crash in the ecosystem. This program focuses on the stewardship of shark communities here on Long Island. Through scientific research, sharing data with marine resource managers, and through programs to inform the community about how important these sharks are to the ecological environment. There's never been a statistical record of a shark attack here on Long Island. So that gives us some sort of an idea that the sharks are not here to eat people. They're basically here to eat the abundance of finfish and other marine life that they need to feed on. But this environment here on the South Shore of Long Island is a migratory fish pathway. And when the sharks are here utilizing the nursery, they're feeding on that abundance of prey that's in the water. Reproductively mature great white sharks that are at least 16 or 20 years of age basically come to the South Shore of Long Island in May and lay anywhere from 6 to 8 pups. Their ecological patterns extend all the way from Montauk south, probably all the way to South Carolina. And we know that because in the last couple of years, with the help of OSURGE, we satellite tagged a lot of the juvenile and young of the year great white shark, and we were able to monitor the ecological movements real time.
The South Shore of Long Island, as far as we know, is the only confirmed nursery for white sharks in the North Atlantic. Every shark that we're able to catch and tag and collect data from is a very significant advancement in the science that we know about this apex predator in the North Atlantic. The work that we're doing today is very important because we don't have access to the internal organs on a lot of shark species, particularly white sharks. The fact that this one washed up in fairly decent condition and we were able to acquire it and freeze it, we're able to get the samples for the internal organs such as the liver, the brain, the vertebrae column, and all of this is only accessible to the scientific community for analysis once an animal has expired. We're fortunate to have Dr. Lisa Natanzan from the National Marine Fisheries Service Lab in Narragansett, Rhode Island with us to conduct a necropsy on a 8.5-foot female white shark that washed up on Cooper's Beach this past Saturday. Necropsy started out by her opening the body cavity, and you may have noticed initially that there were some small white
big tummy
bugs that were in there. That those are not parasites or found in living white sharks. Those are sea lice that came in and started to decompose in the body. The first major organ that she looked at was the liver. That was the largest organ that was in the body. She took out 2 lobes, both sides. So there was one on the left side, one on the right side. She weighed it for scientific purposes to compare the weight of the liver to the general overall weight of the shark. Samples were taken from the liver and given to various biologists for analysis, one of which is contaminant work, so to see if there are any contaminants present in the shark. The next organ that she looked at was the stomach, so you could see that the stomach was actually quite full. Just quickly looking at it, there were 2 large striped bass that were in there. I did see some smaller vertebrae that were probably smaller fish, but that whole stomach content will be analyzed back at her lab by a different group of scientists.
All right, uterus diameter 7.4, and then length might not be doable on this. Usually what I do is go from where it attaches there up to where you can feel the valve there.
Yeah, right there.
Now normally that would be higher up on a mature one.
Oh.
The first thing that decays in these fish are the reproductive organs.
Oh, okay.
And so they turn complete mush pretty quick.
Got it. She also, you saw her with calipers, and so what she was doing is taking various measurements of the ovaries, the uterus, the various parts that made up the reproductive organs of the shark.
See, it's really not even, it's kind of like right there. See that?
This bump
That's
here.
the ovary.
This here, that bump.
This, here, let me get it out. Kind of this bump. All right. So, ovary, say very small. And we're going to go length 25 and width, kind of got to feel it. It's 14.0. Yeah.
You also saw her taking large chunks of the muscle. So the muscle is being analyzed by a couple different biologists. One, again, for contaminants. So the various body parts were were taken and are analyzed equally for the same sort of contaminants to see if they're accumulating in various places or not. The eyes were removed. There's a biologist that's looking at the eye structure and how their eyes are utilized. The jaw was removed. I'll be taking out a couple of the teeth and sending them back to Dr. Natanson so that she can get those to the biologist that's interested in their teeth. Most of the brain, because the animal had been decomposing for a while, was not intact, so the small piece that you saw her remove actually wasn't the entire brain. It was just what was intact enough that she could take that out. That's also, as far as I understood, being analyzed for contaminant work, as well as she talked about there's a bacterial infection that's showing up in some Californian white sharks with ones that have washed up on the beach, and so they're monitoring the bacteria levels for the white sharks here on the Atlantic side. So we encourage you to get involved, and there are several ways. The best would be to come to the museum and talk to the staff that are here and ask questions about our shark research. If that's not an option, you could also log on to SOFO.org and check out the information that's available on the website. And certainly you could email us at sharks@sofo.org with any questions you might have.